Yo, 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 yo. What's good, everybody? Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. How are we feeling? Let me know in the chat box if you guys can hear me loud and clear. And hopefully, you're all looking forward to today's live NFP trading session. Going to momentarily pull up my screen and start to go over the main analysis that I have for today's trading session, and a couple things that I'm on the lookout for. But yeah, man, drop in the chat where you're tuning in from if you haven't already. Hopefully, you guys were enjoying the tunes as much as I was jamming out as we're getting ready to jump into today's session. But let me go ahead and pull this up, man. Let's go ahead and dive right into today's stream. Let me pull this up for you guys real quick, and we'll get the show on the road. Boom. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and do this. All right, amazing. Boom, there's that. And then let me go ahead and do this as well. It's been a minute since I've actually streamed to YouTube. So it's good to be back, man. Good to be back here with you guys. What's good? What's good? What's good? We got the webcam on here. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger for you guys. Boom. And okay, amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. We got Germany in the building, Mauritius, Scotland, Norway. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. I'm currently still in Ontario, Canada. I'll be flying out to Italy on Monday, which is very, very exciting. For those guys that don't know, I am getting married in Italy, and I'll be kind of off the radar screen for 15 days from the 8th to the 23rd. So very, very excited for that. And yeah, really looking forward to it. This will be kind of one of the last live trading sessions that we do before that hiatus. And so really looking forward to it. The very last trading session that I'll be doing is going to be this Sunday. So if you're inside the Primers community, we're going to be doing Market Outlook. That'll be kind of the last session that I leave you guys with for the next couple of weeks. I might periodically here and there share some ideas and outlooks just in the form of like chart markups while I'm in Italy, but obviously going to be very, very present and fully in the moment for the entire duration of that, Italy trip. It's gonna be my first time in Italy, which is good. But for now, we're still here. We're ready for the NFP session and local in Ontario, Canada, where I'm from. So yeah, man. Before we dive into the analysis, for those of you that are new, it's important to understand that first of all these live trading sessions that I host on my channel are for informational purposes only and educational purposes only. And it's not financial advice, any sort of ideas or outlooks that I share on the session. If you were to decide to take action on any of them, you have to obviously, number one, use your discernment. All right. And number two, make sure you're using effective risk. It's fully on you if you decide to take any trades that we share on the sessions. And although we've been fairly consistent in sharing some ideas that had been profitable in the past on sessions, obviously past profits are not indicative of future gains. So any sort of trades that you're taking today, whether it's my, ideas that you're deciding to act on or a trade on your own, obviously use proper risk, ladies and gentlemen, especially on a news trading day like today. All right. For those of you that don't know, we got double NFP going down in about 17 minutes. And double NFP is one of my favorite high impact news trading events to trade because of the consistency and volatility you're going to get every single time. And it's a very, very simple draw on liquidity move that you can then take action on and target the other side of liquidity with when we're considering um you know what to trade or what to look for on an NFP day. It's a very much a sometimes what's referred to as seek and destroy, right? You'll see price trade to one side of liquidity very quickly to then usually reverse and attack the other side of liquidity shortly afterwards. And that happens very consistently on double NFPs in particular. All right. And it's one of my favorite news events, even if it's just a US dollar NFP uh, uh, release that's taking place. Those are still very, very um enjoyable for me to trade personally. And so, of course, here we are. We like to stream and do these sessions with you guys, so you can decide to, yeah, maybe trade NFP and consider some of the things that I'm sharing on the session, right? But again, not financial advice, so use your own discernment, use proper risk, and all that good stuff. But on that topic of getting into the session officially and formally here, feel free. There was very, very little promotion of this session. We discussed it briefly on Sunday Market Outlook from this week inside the Primeverse community. Obviously, this is being streamed publicly. Feel free to blast this link out. All right, this is not being gate kept. This stream is, of course, meant to be shared with whoever feels called to join. So feel free to blast this link out. Let any trading homies that make them aware. Feel free to share this with them, and they're welcome to jump on this session. If you're inside the Primeverse community, definitely let anybody in your teams or organizations know that we're live and about to go into the analysis. So yeah, man, taking a look at gold. Gold's going to be probably the main focus for me today. We're going to take a look at a few other things as well, but the bias that I have on golds is pretty straightforward. Before we get into what I'm looking for NFP, just considering what we've seen so far since the beginning of the week, we've seen golds obviously trade lower the majority of this week so far. And daily time frame perspective, we're you know currently in a bearish environment. But I would say that based on where we're currently trading, it's actually quite interesting where we're trading, right? This is the price action that we had going into the end of May. We had this draw on liquidity, taking out a lot of, buyers that had stop losses beneath lows from kind of mid to third week of May. And we're in this area of more or less consolidation, accumulating to potentially continue higher on gold at some point. Um, Based on the consolidation that we're in right now, I would consider this to be a potentially bullish consolidation that has room to the upside. Could we go lower? For sure. It's on the table. But I like the way the price is developing right now to actually see a move higher today with NFP. And I mean, one of two scenarios, right? Either the low is in for the week, which was established on Wednesday evening, going into Asian session when market open. That's kind of where the low of the week was established. That's scenario number one. Scenario number two is that the low of the week is not in yet, and we're going to see a potential run on these two lows to then see the low of the week established, and then we get a nice reaction, a nice rally to the upside. Unlikely to create a new high for the week above this area where market opened. Well, actually, I guess it's like this. Yeah, these are like the two highs that are this week's high. But those are the two scenarios that I would be seeing. It's either we're going to sweep these two lows on the hourly and then trade higher, or we'll just see price, trade higher from here and the low of the week is in. So with that being said, the main draws on liquidity that I see for gold from the hourly perspective would be potentially these lows. And then obviously we have this high on the hourly time frame, which if we drop to the 15-minute is a very, very clean set of relatively equal highs. That's, I think, very, very easy to see taken out. The point of interest that I would actually prefer taking buys out of today, because I'm pretty confident the low of the week is out of this area. So going into the NFP release at 8:30 Eastern, the type of price action that I'm looking for is I want to see a sweep of this liquidity, all right, that was generated over the past few hours, pretty much since London session. Okay, you can see that this move really took place from 1 a.m. just pre London session, and the move more or less finished. We've gone a little bit higher, obviously, but more or less the main bulk of that V-shaped recovery in that move was completed by 3:30. So from like 1 a.m. to 3:30 a.m., that's what we got. That's when we got this kind of sell to buy motion. We've now been consolidating. We got some liquidity here, so any buyers that have entered the market kind of late after this rally where there's stop losses beneath these lows, we can potentially see a run on those lows to then continue higher. This order block would be a buying point of interest for me. And alternatively, you could look to take positions out of, this area as like a fair value gap, for example, in the 30-minute time frame, hourly time frame, same kind of deal, right? You've got a little fair value gap here on the hourly as well. So Don's perfect world, if we were to see this happen with NFP, would be a sell to buy, where we could see price trade into this fair value gap, potentially the order block, and you can look for buys using the inverse fair value gap indicator, or even just taking it off of, for example, this 15-minute area. Okay. It's kind of like 50% of this order block is where this entry would be based out of, and then stop beneath, this low. You could be a little bit more conservative. Obviously, stop beneath that low would work as well. You're still looking at about a 1 to 2.5 risk to reward. But my preference for entry is going to really be using the inverse fair value gap indicator that we know and we love. And if you don't know it, hopefully, you get to see it in action today. We'll see if we end up taking any trades using the indicator. But yeah, that's what I'd be looking for. Really, is this more or less. So run on this low. If and as to when we see that, that's when I'm going to want to pay attention to what price is doing, look for inversions, and then look to ultimately target this area. So that's Don's perfect world scenario. Let's play devil's advocate now. Okay, let's assume that we don't see price sweeping and attacking this low at the time of the release for NFP. I think it's very, very likely that we go and we see this high taken. So it's either we get a sell to buy right now again, or we potentially trade higher first, and then we could see some sort of a pullback to then go and attack this low. So I'm not opposed to taking shorts if they make sense as well. If we're seeing, these highs taken out and price giving inversions on the smaller time frames like the 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, I would be open to taking shorts today as well, but the buy is certainly more favorable for me. So so yeah, man, that's the perspective on gold. This is the main thing that I'll be focusing on for NFP. But jumping into some currency pairs now, DXY, just to take a look at the dollar index. Okay, this was a fair value gap on the daily time frame that I was wanting to see price return to. You'll notice that we traded nicely into this fair value gap, and we've reacted higher since. And the high of the week was established on Wednesday, and we're starting to see, a bit of sell off here on the DXY. If we drop to the, intraday time frames, you can see again, week open, similarly to gold, inversely. We had price open here, we traded higher, we've created the high of the week so far. We're in this state of consolidation. Where are the easiest kind of draws on liquidity at the moment for DXY? Well, taking a look at this on the hourly perspective, we just took out this relevant, area of liquidity. Okay, next relevant area of liquidity would be the low we just established. Okay, that's just the nearest swing low at the moment. We do obviously have this low from Tuesday. And then inversely on the hourly time frame, you're looking at, these swing highs. Okay. So if I were to be anticipating anything with the DXY, it's going to be very similar to what I'm anticipating with gold, in that I want to see a run on one side of liquidity and look to take a position to target the other side of liquidity. So if we were to maybe make a run on this low and potentially maybe even attack this low, I wouldn't be opposed to taking buys to target these highs, right? Inversely, if we were to see price not attack this low and we just, trade higher over the next period of time, I'm not sure I would look to take a position, because I think it's highly unlikely that we take these highs with the initial news release at 8:30. We probably wouldn't trade it live. This would be something that develops, I think, a little bit more throughout the day, maybe like going into next week, to be honest, that we take out this high. But yeah, that's the perspective on DXY. Looking at euro, being that euro is inversely correlated with the DXY, we are right here, and we have not taken out these two relatively equal highs. So if we're anticipating DXY to potentially spike lower, we'd be looking for the opposite to happen with euro, right? Spike higher, we've potentially got this high to take out, and we can consider shorts. If we were to get a, false spike lower back into kind of where price was developing around London session, okay, this is kind of the London session, order block or point of interest that would be relevant to me. Okay, this is like the swing low from yesterday's afternoon session to Asian session. Current swing high, this is kind of like our trading range. If we were to get a retracement into this area of inefficiency or potentially this order block, I would be open to taking longs as well. It's just again, are we going to see that happen, during our live session today, or is it going to be after that? Right. So it's on the table. It's possible we could see, price give a nice false spike lower down to like 116, 250. We're realistically not very far away from that in terms of pip count. We're like not even 20 pips away from that area. So very, very easy for us to see that with the NFP initial release. And so, yeah, I'm open to taking buys on Euro today as well. The price action that we're seeing on Euro, I think, is fairly favorable for longs. Also, would be interested to potentially see shorts if we take this high first, even just to target like the 50% of the trading range. I'm not necessarily a sweep of this low because I'm not sure we're going to see that. But old point of interest, old order block from London session on Thursday. We traded back into it yesterday, mitigated that area. We're reacting higher. So now getting a retracement to then continue that push higher for these highs is what I'd like to see. It's what I'm looking for on Euro. So the takeaway, or kind of what I would be waiting on, is these highs to get swept and then wait for an inversion to potentially target 50% of this current trading range prior to NFP. Or more preferred or preferable setup is very, very similar to gold, the retracement to then take longs. Okay, this is really the more ideal scene and what I'd like to take on Euro based on the price action we've had so far this week. Because I do think the low is in on gold as well, or the same as the same as the low that is in potentially for the week on gold. I think it's very similar for Euro, and it was set on the same day as well. So yeah, man, this would be the ideal scene, Don's perfect world. Um, in terms of entry parameters, realistically, gold is a little bit cleaner. Uh, Euro, I would just say take an entry off like the 50% of this fair value gap, assuming we start to trade into it, or even the open of that fair value gap, you could be looking to consider, and then stop beneath this low is kind of what I would look to do. Targeting these highs, you're looking at about a 1 to 2 risk to reward. Obviously, we could see this thing rip through potentially these lows as well. So you wouldn't necessarily want to put a buy limit on this, but I mean, you could, but just make sure you're using reduced risk if you decided to. And this fair value gap, this is right around 116 to 20 ish approximately. So something to consider. I'm going to take a look at the chat in a little bit. I haven't looked at the chat yet since we started the analysis, just because we're getting close to 8:30 here with the news release imminent. But yeah, man, I am personally going to set a limit on Euro. It's just going to be very, very small risk, very reduced risk, and see what happens. But I like the perspective on Euro here as well. I may or may not decide to put a limit on golds before the release as well. But for now, we're just going to start with EU. Cool. Amazing. All right, let me pull up golds here again. These the parameters, by the way, in case you guys are wanting these, I'll just write them out quick. Approximately 220. It's like 220 to 200. And then the potential SL, if we were to, you know, be looking at this point of interest, would just be beneath this swing low. Super simple, 116, 080. And then main TP or main target for me would be 116, 450. So those are the parameters for euro. I'm going to take a screenshot of this and I'll drop it in the chat. Hopefully I can drop this in the chat on YouTube here. Let's see if it works. Boom. There's the trading view chart for euro. Cool. And then jumping over to gold, we got about 1 minute before the release. And yeah, parameters on gold that I'd be looking for. Again, not loving the buy limit on this. I think I'd really prefer taking an inversion, but you could look for a potential entry around like 44, 45-ish approximately. So yeah, news is about to release right now. We'll see what motion we get. So we're getting a draw on this low as anticipated for Goldilocks, which we like to see. Starting to trade inside our point of interest here on golds. And I'm liking the area where we're trading in. So I'm actually going to go ahead and take a position on gold here. And my SL price is at this low, which is 44.34. So about 140 pip SL. It's actually more like 44.35 for SL price. And then TPs, we're looking at these highs. So this is like 44.85 take profit is what I'm looking for. Again, not financial advice. If you decide to take any sort of a position, feel free to do so. Just make sure you're using proper risk. And obviously, this is more of just the areas I'm executing out of. Whether you decide to execute out of them, it's completely up to you. But yeah, I like the looks of this a lot. We're back inside this order block from London session. We're getting that potentially full spike lower to get a V-shaped recovery. If and as to when we start to trade back towards this consolidation and ideally this high, I'll be looking to reduce my risk as price is developing. I'm gonna update this risk to reward ratio because we're actually in a position now. My entry price was at, yeah, pretty much where this start of this order block was. Okay, let me take a look at chat real quick because I've been neglecting chat. All right, amazing. So we're getting, this is favorable price action that we're getting right now. This is favorable price action. Could we trade a little bit deeper into this point of interest? 100%. But really favorable price action so far. This is the type of price action that we like to see. Euro is also in the point of interest that we were considering. Right, we're pretty much trading inside the. It looks like we're going to sweep this, but this 15-minute order block. We'll see. We could get a run on this as well for euro. But the main point of interest that I was liking is gold. So gold's playing out favorably so far. We'll see what we get on euro. Could see a dump towards this low to invalidate this setup, but if that's the case, I'm not going to be too fussy about it, and we'll look to see if euro develops favorably. But yeah, we did get a nice sweep of this low. Nice sweep of this low. That's why we wanted to have SL beneath this current trading range. Because we could see, now that we've jabbed this low, we could see a nice reversal. Do we just pull up the double charts and just get kind of crazy with it, ladies and gentlemen? Let's see. I don't usually do this. I remember I used to jump on these 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 trading streams with people in the past when I first was really locking in with trading, and I used to jump on these sessions, and these guys would have like 4 or 5 different charts open at the same time, like just doing the most, and I just kind of find it funny. Um, yeah, I don't know, I just find it funny. I just find it funny, man. I think it's kind of amusing when people have more than one chart open because it's really just unnecessary. in my opinion. But yeah. Anyways, my markup disappeared on gold, so can't really see. Let me just hold on. Is there a way for me to wait? Can I do this? Oh my gosh, is this a 200 IQ play? Well, if this is gonna work, let's see. Copy, paste. Oh my goodness, we love to see it, ladies and gentlemen. We love to see it. That copy and paste was smooth. Now it's on the other chart. Okay, we're looking good. I think there's two of these though. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, gold so far developing well. Euro, wait, what happened to the markup on euro? Euro, there we go. Euro's doing its thing. I like the reaction we're getting after sweeping this low. This is the type of reaction we would want to see if we're going to get a reaction higher towards these highs. So I like the looks. I like the looks of euro and the way that we're progressing. And yeah, okay, cool. All right, let me actually look at chat now because I've got a moment to breathe. Let's see. Congratulations. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Italy trip. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Cool, man. Let's see if we're gonna get some follow through on gold. I think it's likely we're gonna sweep the low of the NFP release. Yeah, we're getting that right now. And from here is where I'd like to see inversion. Right. 1 minute time frame. This is where we'd like to see inversion now that we're seeing this. Right. To get kind of that additional confirmation of us potentially reversing from here now that we're getting the initial release is low swept. If we were to get a 1 minute inversion, that would be quite favorable on Goldilocks. Euro looks like we're going to potentially get invalidated. We're teasing that SL price right now on Euro. So Euro, for me, I just got stopped at Euro. So Euro's invalid. We could get, like I said, though, very, very possible that we get a reversal after sweeping this low. We're trading back inside this order block from Thursday. The last down candle prior to the move higher has yet to be mitigated, so maybe we're mitigating that at the moment in real time. I wouldn't be opposed to re-entering Euro, but I'm gonna give it some time. I'm not gonna rush into a re-entry, but I do like the looks of where we're trading. So I'm gonna keep this on the radar. I'm gonna keep this on the radar for Euro. And then yeah, gold for buys currently in some drawdown, but I like the potential for an inversion entry. All right, initial entry is higher time frame point of interest and entry anyways. So I'm not really worried by the price action that we're getting at the moment. What would be favorable, and I'm going to actually pull this up to be um okay, yeah, so we're okay. This is looking good actually. For the IFVG indicator. Is this actually the I think this is the old one. Where's the current one? Yeah, there we go. So yeah, 1 minute waiting to see if we get inversion. Waiting to see if we get inversion here. The Euro re-entry is it's looking like a potential play. It's looking like a potential play here. It's just very, very cheeky sweep of all these lows on Euro. Wouldn't be surprised if we flip. Wouldn't be surprised if we flip. The bulk of the liquidity capture after the NFP release initially is usually the first 15 minutes after. So from 8:30 to 8:45. We're coming up on 8:40 right now. In terms of where we flip, maybe this is enough liquidity for us to have captured for us to flip. Maybe we attack the low of the week. Right. So that's kind of why I'm being patient on reentry here. But technically speaking, 1 minute time frame, we're getting close to a potential inversion. Right. We haven't seen it yet. Same with gold. Both of these, just developing, doing their thing. Gold from the 5 minute perspective, I'll show you guys this real quick. Indicator actually gave shorts for the just before release. That was super clean. But 5 minute perspective, we're getting a nice reaction out of this little fair value gap. Very, very small fair value gap. So far, respecting it. All right, but this was kind of the lowest point, the fair value gap that took place after this sweep from London session. So liking where we're getting a reaction from on gold on the 5 minute perspective as well. What do we have on the 3 minute for potential? Okay, we probably won't even get a 3 minute inversion based on this because there will be no fair value gap unless this keeps a little fair value gap here over the next 40 seconds. Yeah, looking to see inversion on EU and gold here. Obviously, the most recent inversion took place back here. This was a invalidated setup after the inversion on the 1 minute. It's 1 minute time frame perspective. So we haven't seen an inversion, a bullish inversion, or a bearish inversion for that matter, since this most recent setup. This was like 8:20, so about 10 minutes before the news release. So you'll notice now we've got little fair value gap here on gold on the 3 minute. This is what I'd like to see price kind of trade and close through. And I'll probably add risk to gold once we see that because I'm currently already positioned in gold with very minimal risk, light risk. But inversion would be a good sign for us to yeah, get a nice move at least up to where we were prior to the news release, but ideally again looking to target these highs at like 44.85. Very, very clean price action. This is the type of price action that I like to see with an NFP release. You had manipulation, expansion, right? After sweeping these lows, getting, a nice move higher, getting now what could be a retracement to get a reaction and trade bullishly, continue to trade bullishly. Or we're just entirely wrong and we just don't, which then puts in play the hourly time frame scenario of us potentially sweeping the low of the week. But I think that's based on current price action. That's not what I'm seeing as the likely scenario. I think the more likely scenario is the buys that we're seeing right now, the potential for buys to play out. Could I retrace to the 4 hour for value gap on gold? Yeah, it's on the table. It's on the table. Which are you're looking for this for value gap right here on gold? Most likely. Definitely, yeah. I mean, it's a possible scenario. Assuming that we take out the low of the week, this is where this is where we're likely to trade into going into next week. But I don't think that's going to be seen until next week, personally. So we'll see. Right? We'll see. But yeah, liking the price action so far. This kind of this kind of a move after the initial release at 8:30, followed by an inversion, is usually one of my favorite setups to take for high impact news trading. So that whether that's NFP, whether that's CPI, FOMC, this is pretty textbook. Assuming we get an inversion here, this would be a pretty textbook move after the initial release. So yeah, that'll be favorable. We'll wait to see if we get it, and if we do, great. If not, we continue lower and we get invalidated on gold, we'll just be done for the day. But yeah, so far the price action we're seeing still favorable. Still favorable. I'm gonna keep this up on the 3 minute. I want to watch this on the 3 minute time frame. And then yeah, Euro really just chilling, not really doing a whole lot after having swept this low, but this kind of stagnation is usually pretty typical for the following 15 minutes, maybe a bit of movement between 8:45 and 9. But what we'd like to see on gold is the progression higher here over the next 15-20 minutes. Euro, maybe if we end up seeing the initial anticipation of sell to buy motion be the case, then we'd probably start to see Euro bought up at around the same pace as gold or around the same time as gold. But yeah, Goldilocks is looking solid. I'm liking the price action we're getting on golds. Very solid price action. Just being patient, waiting for that inversion to add some risk on gold. And maybe we'll get it, maybe we won't. That is the beautiful thing with trading, man, is it's always every day is a different day. Every NFP is a different NFP. As much as you can, you know, see pretty consistent price action in terms of search and destroy and seeing areas of liquidity captured and all that, there's always going to be different things that happen on different news releases, right? Just making this a little bit bigger for you guys. This is like an irrelevant setup from before. Just ignore that. Once we get an inversion here, you'll get the new entry parameters. You guys might have seen it for like a couple seconds. But until we actually get candle closure, not really interested in any sort of parameters that show up here. We're just waiting for price to close through this fair value gap, and that's when we would consider taking an entry using the indicator parameters. Euro, not really interested in what Euro is doing right now. So certainly mainly focused on gold at the moment. But yeah, quite an interesting move on Euro. I'm actually curious to see what DXY is looking like. DXY, we actually are about to clear these highs, not the high of the week. This is the high of the week here on Wednesday. But interesting price action, man, for sure. Interesting price action. We were right on the side of liquidity that price was going to trade to first, but so far very very little movement to give us the confidence in seeing a reversal or V-shaped recovery. All right, let me check out the chat box. Lows get swept when New York opens. Yeah, that's on the table for sure. For sure. I think the more likely scenario is we establish the low on gold before 9:30 open, and then 9:30 open is what throws fuel on the fire for us to expand higher. But if we don't see that, I think it's on the table for us to potentially attack these lows after New York open. If we don't get a reaction or we don't see any sort of inversion from this area to, give us the confidence in us seeing that, then yeah, I think these lows on the table for sure for 9:30 open for sure, which would put the higher time frame bias in play, which would be let me just hide the fair value gap indicator. Hourly perspective would be us attacking these lows, making the low of the week. And then yeah, we've got this is a really clean hourly fair value gap as well as 4 hour, right? And I do see us trading into this at some point, right? Ideally, it's either we just start to see price to develop to that area like now or going into New York Open at 9:30. That'd be if we're going to see it. That's going to be the time we see it at, or we just react off this area. That would be again kind of Don's perfect world, but based on how we're seeing price develop on the hourly, I mean, this price action to me is looking like, from the hourly perspective, as candles are printing, this looks like we could just see these lows attacked. 1 minute time frame, 3 minute time frame, we're seeing actually in real time invalidation of the zone, I believe. Yeah. So that would have been me getting hit out on the smaller position of gold, attacking this low at 35. So currently no positions, two invalidations so far. Two invalidations so far for gold and euro. We're not getting any sign of inversion or strength on gold yet. We'll see. We'll see if we attack these lows, man. I think this is like looking to be the more probable scenario as price is developing. Right, this position got invalidated. We'll hide this on the hourly time frame. It's kind of in the way a little bit. This is why I love the indicator, man, because the indicator, when you get the inversion and you get that confirmation of price actually starting to give the reversal, you just have a different level of confidence in those positions on retracements or in those positions after liquidity captures. Because this point of interest, realistically, we're looking at this, okay, cool, we got an order block, there's liquidity prior to news release. Us getting a retracement reaction out of this area is favorable. But there are times where we're seeing exactly what we see. And this might be the initial bias, but if you just wait for an inversion to take entry out of this zone, you'll avoid certain invalidations like the one that we just took on gold, right? Because I took small risk entry from the top of the zone from the higher time frame perspective, understanding this was a possible scenario, and looked to add risk on an inversion, but we literally haven't gotten an inversion on any time frame since 8:30, right? So I'm willing to bet when we do get the inversion, which could be very soon because we're actually seeing both of these lows swept in real time. Okay, this is a very very bold move for gold going into the top of the hour. I'm curious to see. I'm going to set an alert on this. I want to know if we start to trade in this fair value gap and then look for inversion out of that as well. But yeah, all that to say, I was just going to say inversions on gold are usually very, very, very solid. Um, just being patient, waiting for inversions instead of trying to buy retracements in the event that you don't see the retracement respected. Interesting release today, man. No sort of sign of reversal in the first 25 minutes since release. So it looks like the market today didn't want to give us the false spike move. This was certainly not a false spike. We're still getting follow through. But yeah, man, I like what we're seeing. I think there's potential for even on euro as well. Euro's starting to approach the low of the week. There's still a really, really good potential for longs from where we're trading on both gold and euro right now. Now it's just we're waiting for confirmation to take entry. Both of the both euro and gold prior to um obviously the price action we're seeing now. We took longs on. For me, it was with reduced risk. I think I made it pretty clear it was reduced risk on gold for sure, knowing that we could see the price action that we're seeing. And now that we're seeing it, waiting to get that confirmation. And um, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the reentry opportunities look like, if they make sense. And sometimes you got to take an L or two before you take that W. But the W can outweigh the two L's with ease, you know? So I will say, though, I'm not going to be doing a very long stream today. I'll still be on the markets looking for the setup, and I'll be on here for probably another 30 minutes with you guys, but not going to be on here for too long. So I'll probably jump off. I mean, I might not even be on here for New York Open, to be honest. So let's see if we can get an inversion at some point over the next like 15, 20 minutes. This is, wow, very, very, very interesting price action on gold. The first inversion that we're going to get is going to be like the first take profit is going to be literally this high, which is currently 400 pips away from current price, or 350, I guess. So nice run on liquidity here. A lot of buyers getting hit out, us included on the retracement. But yeah, inside that 4 hour fair value gap. Whoever mentioned that, pretty pretty good eye. We didn't talk about the 4 hour fair value gap. You had just mentioned it before we even brought it up on the session. But yeah, good eye. And now we wait for inversion. Still no sign of slowing down so far. Just gonna make this a little bit more subtle because this was an invalidated setup from before. I think it's important to leave the transparency of setups or ideas from prior on the chart. Wow, very, I mean, yeah, taking a look at this, I mean, this is like very, very clean run on liquidity right now. I wouldn't even need to or look to necessarily hold to these highs based on just how aggressive of a move we're getting. We'll be able to get a 1 to 2 like within this trading range quite easily once we do get inversion on the 1 minute and the 3 minute. Obviously, we're still waiting for it. I'm going to be patient on it. But yeah, man, I mean, when we do see the inversion, we see some sort of follow through, like we'll be able to get a 1 to 2 pretty easily. Just setting an alert on the 3 minute inversion. 1 minute inversion, we're looking at the same price level right now. 5 minute, yeah, we're gonna have to wait for the next couple 5 minute candles to produce or develop, I should say. Is the hourly fair value gap at 43.90 valid? Are you talking about like the fair value gap we're trading in like right now? Here, let me isolate focus back to one pair. Can I make this side full screen? Um, move to, sorry guys, I'm just trying to make it so that this is the one that goes full screen and not the other one. Okay, whatever. It's all good. Yeah, because now our markups aren't here. But yeah, anyways, the fair value gap here on the hourly is, I'm not sure if this is the one that you're referring to, but yeah, this is like where, so far though, I mean, again, waiting for an inversion, being patient right now, like we're not seeing any sort of sign of stopping yet. This is like still melting, absolutely melting. I had there was a trading mentor of mine once that shared an interesting concept of on the trades that you're executing, you want to be invalidated quickly if you're to be invalidated. Because, I mean, not that it really matters when you get invalidated. If a trade gets invalidated, whatever, it's part of the process, obviously, right? We're not going to win every single trade. But it's better to be invalidated early, or it's preferable, I guess you could say. Not necessarily better, but preferable, as opposed to you having to watch price print and develop and like very slowly, mundanely then invalidate you. It's just a different psychology, obviously, with a fast invalidation, right? So, all right, on gold, we're reacting off the 50% so far of the fair value gap on the hourly. No inversion yet. We did just fill this entire fair value gap. Maybe we get inversion through it on the 1 minute. 3 minute, yeah, it looks like we're going to potentially get inversion here on the 1 minute. Oh man, I don't know if I want to execute the 1 minute inversion or not. Um, yeah, there's the 1 minute inversion. That's the inversion, first inversion that we're getting on gold. Let me make the parameters a little bit bigger for you guys to consider executing from. We'll clear or hide this on the smaller time frames. Excuse me. But we're getting that inversion on gold. So the entry parameters are given with the indicator here. All right, I like it. And now it's just a matter of, okay, do we want to not blindly, but do we want to execute the 1 minute? Do we want to wait for the 3 minute for additional confirmation? 5 minute time frame, we're not even going to really get an inversion for quite some time right now. So I'm going to be patient on this. We haven't gotten a 3 minute inversion yet. And we could reject off this fair value gap on the 3 minute and go lower on the 1 minute. So I'm not executing this yet personally. You could obviously, and I've mentioned this before on sessions, the 1 minute time frame inversions are always going to be the uh you know, the more, not high risk, but like the higher the time frame, obviously the higher likelihood is going to be for price to play out and to react favorably off of, or not react favorably, but just to have follow through. So this 1 minute inversion, you might be looking at and be like, oh my gosh, it's out of the 50% of a higher time frame fair value gap on the hourly. You know, this could be like the inversion that gives us the move, which is true, it's possible, but it's a 1 minute inversion. 3 minute inversion, 5 minute inversion in my, you know, in my books are a lot more reliable than a 1 minute inversion. We could see a 1 minute inversion here and then price continues lower again, and then we get another inversion that's more favorable, deeper inside the fair value gap. Just because we're getting a reaction right now off the 50% doesn't mean that it's going to be the one that that gives us, you know, a retracement of this current move. So hopefully that makes sense. I don't know if that was just rambly or not, but hopefully that resonates and makes sense. If this is the inversion, we should get supported from this area. If it's not, then we're likely to continue lower. I'd want to just see continuous bearish candles print. But yeah, let's see, man. Oh yeah, I got a haircut this afternoon. I feel like my hairstyle has been so like basic for the past like 15 years. Or maybe not 15 years, but like the past 10 years for sure. I've just had like the same hairstyle, man. I don't know. Part of me is like I should just do something completely different. But obviously I'm not about to do that before my wedding pictures, because this is going to be probably my wedding haircut. Maybe I'll get touched up when I'm in Italy, find a good Italian barber. But anyways, there's part of me that in the future wants to try like a new hairstyle, but I don't know what I would do. What do you guys think I would do or should do? Should we do the um should we actually, you know what? I really like braids, but I'd have to grow my hair out quite a bit. I'd have to grow my hair out. You guys want to see how long I'd have to grow my hair out? I have a picture actually. My dad sent me this picture yesterday. He's like, "You remember when you had this long of hair?" And I said, I couldn't even recall having hair this long, but this is here, I'll show you guys this picture. I think this is kind of a cool trip down memory lane, man. Let me pull this up for you guys. You guys are gonna be like, "What the? That's you?" Y'all ready? Chat. I don't think you guys are ready for this, man. I really don't think you guys are ready for this. Okay. Let me pull this up for you guys, man. All right. So this was me. This is my Nana. She was an absolute beautiful soul. Um, love her to bits. And she was yeah, honestly such like an amazing role model for me. Really, really good, loving, compassionate, down to earth, so peaceful. Like her energy was so peaceful. And then this is my pops. This is my dad. Big shout out to the pops one time. But look at the length of my hair, bro. That's like shoulder length. This has got to be, I don't even know what year this was taken. Look at the baby face, bro. Look at the baby face on this guy. I thought that was an AirPod in for a second. It's not. There was no such thing as AirPods back then. Certainly not. But man, like yeah. But I got some nice hair, man. What can I say? What can I say? I got some nice hair, man. So what do I do with it? You know what I mean? What's the what's the play, ladies and gentlemen? What do you guys think? What do you guys think, man? All right, gold developing nicely. We respected the inversion. The old fair value gap went from being resistance to support. as they say in the business, break and retest, so to speak. And so far, so good. 3 minute, we're getting closer to. We're not there yet. And it's, going to be ideal that we get candle closure through this relatively soon if we're going to get, if this is the move. And we're not looking for an insane reversal, huge, massive higher time frame move with this. Like, we don't need that, right? 1 to 2 R with these entry parameters on the 1 minute is at this high, like I was mentioning before. Very likely we're going to see that be the main target, right? Because if we're looking to target these, and I would love to see this, by the way, don't get it twisted. I would love to see on the 15-minute time frame perspective a run on these highs. As you guys know, we talked about it at the very, very beginning of the session. I'd love to see that. But what I'm saying is we don't need to see that for me to be content taking an inversion entry for longs, right? We don't need to see that. We could take 1 to 2, just retracement of this move. Because we could see a reaction lower from here, perhaps. I do think the V-shaped recovery makes sense. I think this is something we could maybe see today, maybe going into Sunday. But I mean, I think we could get this before market closes today. This is on the table for us to attack these highs. This would be the low of the week. We close kind of like around here. Maybe. Let's see. But anyways, do you guys want to see my wedding suit? I feel like I'm just in such a mood of sharing today. Sharing is caring, man. Sharing my life with you guys. Do you guys want to see the wedding suit though? I picked it up. Actually, I haven't picked it up yet. I went and tried it on yesterday, and we're doing some alterations to the pants. The pants were a little bit tight, so we're getting some alterations on that, so it'll be a little bit more comfortable to wear. But yo, let me show you guys. Oh yeah, and let me know the hairstyle suggestions, guys. What should we go for the braids in the future? What do you guys think about that? Let me know, chat. Let me know. But if you guys are like Donnie, why aren't you just on the charts doing analysis right now? It's like, bro, do I want to sit and watch paint dry? That's what we're doing right now. Like, I don't want to stare at this until we get an inversion. Then we'll come back and take a look at what's going on. You know, we got to wait a full 3 minutes before we get potential inversion of this. 1 minute time frame, we've been, sharing that this could be a potential play. But again, being patient, waiting for that 3 minute inversion. So why not fill the time with something as exciting as my wedding suit, you know? Okay, let me airdrop these to myself. I'm really happy with the turnout of this suit. Yeah, this is such a wild. I'm just looking at the picture of my long hair. Such long hair, man. It's crazy. Crazy. Wow. Okay. Let me focus. So these are 2 videos. Okay. Let me pull this up. So this is the first video. Got to figure out which this is. Is it this one? No, that's not it. Wait, I just opened it, the video. Oh, here it is. Found it. Okay. So this is the forest green wedding suit. And double-breasted, first double-breasted suit as well. Super clean. Like when we made this, and there's some like I wish I had it with me. I could show you guys the inside lining and everything. Best suit I have in the collection by far, by far. But yeah, the color came out way better than I was expecting. Like I knew the forest green was going to be nice, but when you have those fabrics, when you go to a tailor, you get these fabrics. Unless they actually have a suit with that fabric ready on display, like what you're seeing right now, it's really hard to get an idea for what the little piece of felt is going to look like when it's on, when it's your suit made of the material, right? Because they just show you like a little square. So this came out better than expected. Very clean color. I was wearing a baby blue dress shirt, which I didn't even plan to like have that go well with the suit, but it actually goes quite well with the suit. Wasn't really expecting that. All right, gold's doing its thing. Hold on, we only want to see bullish inversions here. Let's put the settings that way accordingly. And then let me pull this back up. Let's look at this video. I mean, it's the same suit, obviously, just different angle for the video. But yeah, was having some Negronis while I was there. Negronis are fire. But yeah, man, so that's the wedding suit. Uh my favorite suit in the collection. Obviously, I'm gonna wear it after the wedding. It's not like a dress. I feel like dresses are, you know, I don't know why that is, by the way. I think it's kind of like why not wear your wedding dress again? Ladies, why not? I feel like if I was a woman, I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna rewear my wedding dress. I'm trying to get more than one use out of this. Are you kidding me? One use? What am I gonna do? Frame it for the rest of my life? Maybe I will. Maybe I would. But yeah, man, I'm gonna be re-wearing this suit probably, yeah, over the rest of my life. as, as long as I don't get too bulky and strong and outgrow it, you know. Still waiting for the 3-minute inversion. We're teasing it. We're trading through it a couple of times here, but we're not getting the candle closure. We need the candle closure. 1-minute time frame's doing its thing. I think going into 9:30, we maybe get one more sweep and then we get follow through. But this could be the inversion that leads us to a 3-minute inversion. That's clean. Looks good. Awesome. Glad you guys like the suit, man. Yeah, it's a nice. It came out really nice. Came out super nice. When's the wedding? So we're doing a more of an elopement, and then we're gonna bring everybody together in the future. So it's gonna be Julia, myself, and then her mom and her mom's friend. Like that's it. Those are the only ones that are going to Italy. So it's more of like destination wedding slash elopement, and then we're gonna do something with everybody in the future, probably like anniversary vibes. But it's the 13th, June 13th. So not tomorrow, but next Saturday, which is good, man. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. We're going to where Anakin and Padme got married, guys. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. We're getting married literally on Naboo. Isn't that cool, man? If you're not a Star Wars fan in here, you can't appreciate what I just said. But if you're a Star Wars fan and you're as big of a Star Wars fan as me, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. And it happened by accident. We didn't even like Julia's showing me the pictures of Lake Como, Italy, and I'm like, why does this look so familiar? And I'm like, wait a minute. This is literally where Anakin and Padme got married. I wonder if it was filmed. It looks very similar. I wonder if it was filmed in Lake Como. And I looked it up, and sure enough, it was. So, just kind of cool. I'm a big Star Wars guy. If you don't know, now you know. Let me show you guys. Okay, we're still waiting for the inversion. Don't worry, guys. We're not missing anything. Okay. Although we are gonna potentially see that inversion sooner than later. If we're gonna get it, I mean, maybe it's after 9:30 open, but yeah, we'll see. Anyways, Anakin and Padme marriage. Learn complex concepts with AI mode. Take me back. Okay, here we go. So yeah, they have this ceremony. This is in Lake Como. That's not even them. Who I don't know who these guys are. But all right, let's look at some images here. So like this is at one of the villas. Why is like the picture quality so garbage? Am I tripping? Why is it? Okay, well, these pictures are not doing it justice at all. But anyways, it's really nice. Let me do this. Bellagio, Italy. So this is like right on Lake Como. And is there a way for me to make this bigger? All of these bigger? I don't know. Maybe Pinterest would have been a better place to go to. But yeah, so this is pretty much where Anakin and Padme got married. Julia's showing me these different places where we could potentially like do the ceremony and stuff, or like be for the actual symbolic ceremony because we're gonna do the legal marriage back here in Canada, but symbolic ceremony and everything. And she's showing me these pictures. I'm like, why does this feel so familiar? It's literally where two of my favorite Star Wars characters got married in episode 2, man. It's insane. It's insane. If you guys knew my appreciation for Star Wars, you'd understand why it's so cool and like exciting for me. But if you don't know, you're probably like, dude, this is so lame. You're getting married where two characters in a movie series got married. Like it's kind of corny. It almost sounds kind of corny, right? But it's the fact that it happened by accident. Like we were planning on going there before I even knew that this is the same place. This is Naboo where the movie was shot. It just was like such a cool thing. Such a cool thing. Anyways, we are still waiting on the 3 minute for gold. 1 minute progressing solidly. Being patient. Patience is key. But yeah, figured I would share that with you guys while we're watching paint dry here. We should get some nice volume with the 930 open. What was the actual release? We never did end up looking at this. Yeah, so overwhelmingly bullish in comparison to the forecast for changing the number of employees. So 172,000 new jobs in the last month. Last month was really good too. Wait, what is this setup that it's showing? Oh my goodness, did we find a bug with the indicator? What is this printing for? Huh, very interesting. Let me take a picture of this. Because this IFG is like old news. I'm not sure why we're getting another. We'll have to go into the code and look into that. Interesting. It's doing it on this data feed as well. Yeah, I'm gonna investigate this. Have you guys ever experienced this with the indicator? It's like the parameters should have been given here, but for some reason it's being given like 15 minutes later. Very interesting. Let me know if you guys have ever experienced this with the indicator chat. This is my first time seeing it live, but I had somebody mention that they were experiencing it before, specifically the IFEG just like being dragged out further than it's supposed to be. Like it's supposed to be cut off like here where the inversion takes place, but it's all the way over here for some reason. But this is like just straight up giving a completely incorrect setup. So I'm gonna have to go into the code and see where that's coming from. Yeah, because now we can't even see the old parameters unless we do this. Let's get on yours. Which data feed are you looking at? Right now I'm on FXCM, and it was showing for FXCM and for Owanda. Like this is just like a completely inaccurate markup. Interesting. Yeah, it's like on most data feeds for me. Pretty much all of them. Interesting. Interesting. All right, well, it's all good. We'll look into it on the code side of things. So based on price developing right now, obviously very, very boring on the 1 minute. We want to see speed with inversions and follow through. So we saw speed with this inversion, but very limited follow through. So this is still favorable to play out. But really my ideal scene is like we get fast speed followed by like pretty considerable follow through. So we could get going into 9:30, and I'll leave you guys with this because I'm going to wrap the session up now. First of all, we're trading inside the hourly time frame fair value gap. The hourly and 4-hour time frame fair value gap. Okay. So what it looks like on the hourly, 4-hour, pretty much the same markup. We're in a position where we've swept these two relatively equal lows. And at the very least could play an inversion to retrace this move. Right. So going into 9:30, what I'd like to see is price, and we might get it before 9:30. I mean, it's 9:30 in 1 minute actually. But going into the rest of New York session today would be maybe final jab. We get a full fair value gap fill on the hourly, followed by inversion at some point here, market structure shift, closing above this, and then looking to, start moving towards the highs from this morning. All right. That's what I'd be looking for on gold. Um, yeah, you can use the indicator. We'll wait to see what kind of setups present themselves throughout the session, but literally zero inverse fair value gaps that made sense to take entries off of for longs this morning on the 3 minute time frame for gold. So that's literally, I mean, if there's one thing that you guys take from this stream, let it be that the inverse fair value gap is one of the best confirmations you can wait for to take an entry. There was never once during this bearishness, which we were anticipating to be a retracement to go higher initially off of here, or now that we've swept these lows on the higher time frame, maybe get a reversal from here. If there's no inversion on the 3 minute, don't look to, take an entry. Just be patient, wait for that inversion, wait for that confirmation, and go from there. Right? I think that's something we've literally seen put on display yet again today, and we've seen it in previous sessions as well. But yeah, the inverse fair value gap indicator is just really, really good for that. So the 1 minute area from earlier did get hit out just now. I didn't personally, you know, I shared when we were trading back here that I was gonna wait for a 3 minute inversion. 3 minute time frame, there was a couple candles that did trade above this 3 minute fair value gap, but we never got candle closure above it. Never got candle closure above it. So now we'll wait for the most recent fair value gap on the 3 minute, which is right here, to get inversion through. So if we're selling off and then at some point we see price trade and close above this 3 minute time frame fair value gap, giving inversion, that's where I'll be looking to take an entry and look to target this area of liquidity on the 3 minute. And then of course we have this high too. You could probably reduce risk at that point when we take this high. This is assuming we get an inversion, over the next little bit. We could just continue selling off, but I think it's pretty soon we get the inversion here, to be honest. Ideally, we get candle closure to leave a fair value gap here. If we don't, which we just filled it, so this actually is not going to be potential for inversion. This is going to be the most recent 3 minute fair value gap, at least 1 minute time frame where this is what we're dealing with for our fair value gap. Looks like we might get inversion here pretty quickly as well. But let's see. Anyways, yeah, I got a jet, ladies and gentlemen, but we'll chalk it up as good potential leaving the session for opportunities. Obviously took two invalidations while we were on the stream, and it's part of the game. Part of the game. Euro, golds, but we showed up. We put the reps in. I really like the potential we have for potential longs going into the rest of today. So yeah, just be very attentive. I think there's really good opportunity for longs. It's just being patient, waiting for it to present itself. That's really what it's going to come down to. So yeah, man, I'm gonna leave you guys with that. I'll be back on Sunday. If you're watching this stream and you're not a part of the Primeverse community, that's where I do live sessions multiple times throughout the week. We do trade ideas. There's a brand new smart money course that's launching over the next very soon period of time is what I'm going to say. It's the course is finished. There's one final revision we're getting done, and other than that, it's fully ready to go and accessible for free to all Primeverse members. Primeverse is also free to be a part of. So yeah, it's going to be the best piece of work, the best course that I've ever put out. on smart money. And it'll be releasing in the next very, very near future. You'll see more about it on social media. We're going to do like a whole campaign kind of promoting it and everything. So, yeah, but it's all free inside the community. Live sessions, trade ideas, education, of course content. Great community as well. We do in-person events on a regular basis all around the world. Just depends where you are and if we have presence there. But yeah, man. Other than that, great session. I'll be live again on Sunday. That'll be my last session before I fly to Italy. I fly to Italy on Monday. And yeah, man, it'll be a couple weeks before I'm back. I'm gonna be pretty plugged out of everything while I'm in Italy, man. So yeah, man, I'm excited. Much love, everybody. Have an amazing rest of the week. Have a great weekend. And I'll see you guys on the next live session in the near future very soon. And yeah, looking forward to it. See you guys then.